How'd you
Okay.
get your water? Tried to hide it from me.
Oh, you got those.
Write this down, please. So we got alkane, focus, alkane, alkene, alkyne. We have one example of each, right?
Yeah,
We have names and formulas.
I got the one with the bonding stuff.
Right, so you have single, double, triple. Good. All right, write this down. All organics, including hydrocarbons. What's a hydrocarbon?
Something that has hydrogen and carbon.
Right, all the ones we're talking about right now. So just the black and the yellow. Just hydrogen and carbon. So that's the alkanes, the alkenes, and the alkynes. Less
With what?
all organics, including hydrocarbons,
Bonding
are non-polar. Underline that. All organics, including hydrocarbons, are non-polar. I'll give you a great example. Methane is CH4. If you drew the structure, it would have one H up, one H down, one H left, one H to the right. How do you know it's non-polar by looking at it?
It's symmetrical.
Symmetrical, equal distribution of electrons and charge. It is symmetrical. I just used that one example. Not every single organic molecule in the world is 100% nonpolar, but almost all of them are nonpolar. So when I say all organics, that's actually not true. So I'll put all in quotes, but the reason I'm telling you that is it's so overwhelmingly nonpolar, I'm not going to try and confuse you and give you all the exceptions. Basically, anything that's organic won't dissolve in water. I'll give you a couple of simple examples. Gasoline is organic. It doesn't dissolve in water. Oil, any kind of oil. Vegetable oil, olive oil, whatever. Corn oil, whatever. Canola, it will not dissolve in oil.
Charcoal.
Or in water. In water. What? Charcoal. What about it? Does it?
Yeah.
I mean, if you like
depending.
rubbed it.
Maybe some of it, yeah. So some organics can dissolve slightly. It doesn't dissolve very well. But most, especially the hydrocarbons, they really don't dissolve very well. So that's something I want you to try and remember. That's going to be important moving forward. That's important. And really, the hydrocarbons, because they're very symmetrical and they have a bunch of C's and H's. So we'll talk more about that down the road and in lab too. We'll talk about that. All right, this is something I forgot to mention last week. All right, so I'm gonna draw. Well, here, let's title the notes here. Branched alkanes. Branched alkanes and alkenes. Branched alkanes and alkenes. Where's the other black marker? Alex, I was taking my good ones. Just kidding, Alex. I gave it to you. All right. When you hear the word branched, what do you think of?
Trees.
Trees. Good. Trees are good. It's Earth Day over break. Don't forget, you gotta do something for the Earth.
The different branches of government.
I already did something.
The 22nd. What are you guys gonna do?
Earth Day was.
I saved a bird this weekend.
Nice. How?
Yeah, because we heard flapping outside,
Yep.
and like we looked over and we saw this bird falling from a tree, and like its wing was like all bloody, so I had to catch it. I didn't have any clothes on.
So you caught the bird and then what?
Yeah, we had to. I caught it, and then we had to put it in a box and bring it down to this lady who works with Children Rescue Center.
Oh, good. Good. Who leaves the water running while they brush their teeth? Try not doing that anymore. That's a simple thing for Earth Day. Who leaves lights on all the time?
I have Christmas lights
I
on.
Turn the lights off. Okay.
I mean, with
I do.
Oh, wait.
I have a
When
moonlight.
you leave the room, obviously.
I can't sleep with lights on.
Right.
Yeah, it has to be dark.
You want to determine the last 3 weeks?
I'm doing good, something good for the Earth.
Well, yeah, no, actually,
I had
more
so I
often,
have
almost
like
every night,
little
'cause you
stars
fall
on my
asleep
like
playing
ceiling,
music.
Yeah.
and they're like
I
dark
know,
by
you
light, but at nighttime.
Nice. So they go in the dark?
Yeah.
Nice.
Now I got it.
Saving people.
Yeah,
Simple
and then-
things.
or-
Hey, big thing, big deal. New York just banned single-use plastic bags.
Wait, I
Big
heard
deal.
about
I like that.
Yeah,
I
bring
like
your
that
own
a
bag.
lot.
You know
I
Rwanda
save
banned
people,
plastic
that
bans?
counts.
Yeah,
What's
she
that?
says people.
Rwanda.
He didn't even
That
listen.
People
banned-
ruin nature.
Yeah, Hawaii, there's no plastic bags.
People
Why-
ruin
why?
nature. People are horrible.
Yeah, so that's a big deal. Grocery stores aren't going to be able to use plastic bags. paper or
Cardboard.
yeah, boxes, cardboard boxes, paper bags, or really what should, in my opinion,
Reusable bag.
reusable.
That's what we use.
Reusable, right. So there you go, Tyler. On Earth Day, go buy reusable bags.
All right, cool.
Does saving people count?
Well, no, you can't. So the grocery store is going to have something available, but it's not going to be plastic bags.
Did you hear what she said?
Just bring
Well,
12 backpacks.
Does saving people count as helping the earth? Because that's what I do.
It depends
Yes.
on if those people are helping the Earth or not.
Word.
No.
Oh.
Because actually, this is going to be, I shouldn't record this. This is purely a joke and really kind of me. This is like, demonic is the word, maybe?
Stop the recording.
People pollute the environment just by living. So by saving people, you're actually polluting the Earth.
No.
All right.
Less people would be better for the Earth, right?
So if you die, that makes everyone else
I'm
happy.
just joking.
If their house is burning
Okay?
down,
I'm joking.
I
It's
don't
twisted.
care.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Alright.
Are you
Ted.
saying we should kill off many humans?
Just like Thanos,
I
yes.
think we
just
should
like
have a
Thanos.
zombie apocalypse.
Anyone know what that means?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that stuff.
What?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
We have zombie
Did you see the
apocalypse.
video? Well, they timed it perfectly where it was New Year's and he snapped it, so it was just like he
No,
snapped
I
it.
didn't see
It was
that.
really funny.
It's a really sick thought, but from an extreme logical perspective, it makes sense. But you can't do that. You can't kill people. So anyway, moving
You
on.
could kill people.
Well, yeah, but it's not. I mean, anyone could, right? We don't because we have morals and
Did you see
consequences.
the new
Well,
movie, The
some people have
Silence?
morals.
No.
There's a new movie on Netflix called The Silence.
What's it about?
It's good. It's about like not being able to make noise and like birds that eat you.
I would so watch that.
What does making noise have to do with birds eating you?
No, because they're birds that can't see, and like if you make a noise.
Oh, so they use like
Yeah, they use,
sounds
like,
to figure
sound.
out. Okay,
And
that's
it's
there
like
was
the
a
other
movie that's
side.
called
Bird Box.
Quiet Place.
Yeah, basically.
All right,
Scary.
sorry guys, back to the audio. All
Same
right,
thing.
all right, stay with me. Sorry. The whole thing was about Earth Day, and then we got crazy. Started talking about birds eating people. I'm gonna draw two structures on the board. Okay, I want you to draw them, and we're gonna learn how to name these things. All right.
I'm
So,
sure you watched this
1, 2, 3, 4. Do that. Yes, you know what this is. We just did it on the warm up, but read it anyway. And then next to it, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I want you to put both of these in your notes right next to each other. And think of a tree. You got a tree trunk, and the branches are kind of coming off of the trunk, right? You know, you can argue when you look at certain trees, you kind of lose track of the trunk as it goes up. But I think we're all on the same page. You have the trunk, and then without the trunk, you can't have the branches, right? The trunk is what's planted into the ground, growing from the ground, not the branches. The trunk is. So the way I teach this, well, not just me, but the way branched alkanes are taught, this carbon here is called a branch. This one doesn't have any branches. So you're going to learn today how to name this thing because it's not the same as this. Now, why did I pick these two? Well, how many carbons here? 4. So this is C4, and how many H's? 10. C4H10. What about over there? Same thing. C4H10. According to table Q, P and Q, what should the name of both of these be? Butane, but they're not. This one is called butane, and that's because butane is called a straight chain alkane. What does that mean? It means the carbons form a straight line. Think of chains like links in a chain. Each carbon is a link. Well, these links can bend, and you can also attach other links to a chain, and that's kind of what this is. So a straight chain is very easy to name. That's what we've kind of been doing. That's easy. Well, what happens if I take this carbon off of the main chain? So let me give you all the names. This is called a straight chain, the main chain, the parent chain, the carbon backbone. All those mean the same thing. So straight chain. Let's say I take this carbon and now I stick it on the bottom of this one, right? So I take this one off and I put it right here. So now what I created is this. So this is the same thing as this. If I took this carbon off, and we're going to go slow on this first example, and a little one, there we go, and I put it back over here. So this is this. Yes, I know it's kind of like going up and down, but that's because actually in real life it does kind of look like this. Not kind of, it does look like this. On the board or on paper, we just draw a straight line, just makes it easier. Okay? So,
It does.
a little bit, yeah. So, right, because of the.
I'm a dog.
Alright, so now, this is butane. You've already learned how and why. 4 carbons, 10 hydrogens, it fits the alkanes, so it's butane. Alright, good. Again, if I simply take this one off, and I put this hydrogen here, and now I put this here in the middle, now it's not butane anymore. Okay, I always think of Mr. Potato Head when I do this. Why?
Because you're
Taking it
Right.
off.
Imagine Mr. Potato Head put the head put together the way he's supposed to. You rearrange all his parts. You can put his eyes where his feet are, his nose where his ears are, his nose where his head is, whatever. He has arms, right? Arms on his
Yeah.
head, wherever, where his hat goes. So the point is, you can rearrange Mr. Potato Head to make him look like some freak, right? So now, that's kind of what we're doing here. We're taking the same number of atoms, but rearranging it so it looks different. So there's no way, in terms of chemistry, it can have the same name. No way. This is not butane. Here's how we name this. Okay? So, pay attention the best you can here the first time through, and I think you'll be good from there. We're going to do probably 2 more examples after this, and then that'll be it. And we'll pick up tomorrow with this, but pay attention. Here we go. So, if I say, okay, what's the name of this? Here's how you do it. First thing, count the longest chain of connected carbons. What does that mean? Well, if you're looking at this, how many carbons make a chain of carbons? Well, I can count 1, 2, 3. Those 3 are all connected to each other in a straight chain. Or I could count 1, 2, 3. Those 3 are all connected. Or I can go 1, 2, 3, and those 3. No matter how I count, there's just 3 carbons in a chain. Does everybody agree?
Uh-huh.
Whereas over here, there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All connected. Everyone's good? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Again, no matter how I count, left to right, up, it doesn't matter, I get 3. So the first rule, once you find the longest chain of connected carbons, put a box around it. Put a box around it. I want you to do exactly what I did. When you get good at this, hopefully tomorrow and then after break, you don't have to necessarily follow all the rules very slowly as long as you can name it. But for now, we're going to go slow. All right, 1, 2, 3, put a box around it. Okay. Anything outside the box, we circle. So there's a C with 3 H's coming off. All right, now we're almost done actually. Somewhere underneath these structures, put a little star here. Another word for branch, because this carbon is a branch branching off of this box, that's a branch. Another name for branch is a substituent. Oh no, I was right. Substituent. The word substituent means something smaller or a small piece of something larger. Satellites are kind of like substituents. Like satellites going around Earth, they came from Earth. Earth is the big thing it's orbiting around. The satellite's the little tiny piece from the big piece. So that's another example. School districts, you have individual buildings, elementary, middle school, high school. Not necessarily us, but bigger districts have multiple buildings. Each building would be a substituent of that school district. So substituent is a small piece from something bigger. Hopefully that made some sense. This is the only one we need to know right now. And what is that? That's a CH3. So, a substituent, typically a CH3, is called a methyl group. That's something I want you to memorize, and you will, because you're going to see it a lot. Between today, tomorrow, and then after break, you're going to see it all the time. You will just remember it, I promise. So, if you see one carbon outside the box, we call that methyl. Not methane, because methane would be the
The other
CH4. This. This is CH4, which is methane. If I take an H off, that's methyl. So that's what's down here. That's my methyl group. Okay, so that's something to try and remember today, and you'll pick it up eventually. So that's called a substituent. It's also called a branch. Yes.
So technically every single one is a methyl because it's connected to one carbon and three.
Well,
That's
not
only
this
if
one,
it's
right?
separated across
But,
if it's
but this
branching
one
out.
and this one, yes.
Yes.
They could be, not the way we have it, but they could be.
But it's only
Okay,
because
so-
they're branching.
They're
out.
branching out, right?
Wouldn't it just be like like H2? If you just switch the spots of H's, wouldn't it technically still be H2?
Let me finish this, and then I'll draw something you want me to draw based on what you're asking.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is the main chain, the parent chain, the straight chain, whatever word is going to click with you. This is a branch. All right. Now what we do is we name the box, we name the circle, and we put it together. All right. So forget this is even here. What would you call 3 carbons, all single bonds?
Carbonate.
You're thinking too hard.
Okay.
Propane.
Oh.
This is propane. So, I'm trying to keep it simple here. Forget the circle. Name the box. 1, 2, 3 is prop. Ane means single bond, so propane. So this box is called propane. But it's not really just propane because we have this thing branched off of it. Like a little arm hanging off. So what is this called? This is
Methyl.
called methyl. Right.
I took.
So, one last thing we have to do.
Put them together.
Well, we have to put them together, but the whole reason these things have a name is so everyone can reproduce the structure. So in other words, if I told Fred the name of this structure, he would be able to draw it without seeing it. That's what the name tells you. It tells you how to draw it. So, last thing, we have to number our carbon chain. What does that mean? This is carbon number 1, this is carbon number 2, and this is carbon number 3. There's going to be questions, I know, but let's just stay with me here. Trust the process. So, the name of this is 2-methyl-propane. That's the name of that structure. 2-methyl-propane. Why 2?
Because the methyl is going.
Good. The methyl is attached to the second carbon. That's why we need the number. So now, Fred can draw. 2-methyl-propane. We're going to do another. Question. Or what do you want me to draw?
I was just saying, like, comparing it to like just something simple like an H2.
What if I did this? Hold on. What if I did this? What if I said there's my 3-carbon chain? Now this would be my methyl group. And you know what? It's still 2-methylpropane. 1, 2, 3, so 2-methylpropane.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter always. Doesn't always matter, is what I would say.
If I'm comparing this to just regular chemistry,
Okay, go ahead.
there's two H's.
So like this?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you moved one H to the bottom of that H,
So like this?
yes, wouldn't it still technically be H2?
Absolutely.
Then why is that changing from butane if you're just moving one thing down?
Ah, great question.
Why does he come up with the hard questions?
This is thinking. It's good.
It hurts.
All right, I'm actually going to do that example next. Sort of. I'll tweak it to answer your question. Here we go. Write this down. Draw that, and then draw this. I know the fun trick. And yeah, I'm being lazy. I'm leaving my H's off. But
I am too.
hello. Hey. Okay, great. Yeah, I can come get her right at the end of this period, or if someone wants to, I'll just come get her. Thanks. All right. All right. Okay. So this doesn't exactly explain what Silas was asking. I'm gonna try and do that real quick at the end here. Let me put this together. So I need this. First question I have for you guys. Are these two structures different or are they the same thing?
Same thing.
Same thing. Very good. Here's why. Everyone look up here.
Oh, you dropped something.
Come on. Alright. So, this is this structure here. How do I make it look like that one?
Yeah, just
180.
Just do this.
Whoa.
Okay? So I could also just literally do this and then do this. So it depends, right? From my perspective, I'm looking at that. But from your perspective, you're looking at this. Remember, these things actually exist in real life, they're three-dimensional. So I wanted to just first of all explain these are the same thing. Okay. Now, I'm gonna get to what you said, hopefully. Let's name this together. What's the longest chain? Hold on. How many carbons are in the longest chain?
Butane is
4.
the
No, not yet. Hold on. Circle everything outside. Just trust the process. Do it slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's butane. What do we call one carbon? Methyl. So, yes, this is methylbutane. But we need to number where that methyl is. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 2-methylbutane. Now, I went a little quick. Hold on. What if I wanted to name this one? I would do the same thing. What do you think some kids want to name this? 3-methylbutane. That would be incorrect. That's probably going to drive you crazy. You cannot go 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's why. Here's why. I get excited about this. Because it's the same thing. This is 2-methylbutane. So is that. You didn't change anything, so why would you change the name? So the rule is you go, hold it. The rule is you go for the lowest number possible. So when you're numbering these chains, the substituents must get the lower number. So if you number this right to left, this becomes a 2, and that's correct. So it's still 2-methylbutane. Go ahead.
So it can never be 3-methyl.
That does not exist.
4.
Okay.
So, now, I know you two had questions, but what Silas is asking is what if we do this? Right? That's
That'd be a
basically,
1.
right? So if you have pentane in a straight line or you bend it, it's still pentane. This is still pentane.
Would that be a 1?
That's
Wait,
pentane.
what?
That's exactly the same as that.
Why?
No.
Because
Oh,
they're
'cause
all
there's no-
connected.
It's just branched.
It's not branched.
The
It's
one at
taking
the
a
top
chain
is-
and just bending it. You're not hooking on another chain.
That's confusing.
I hate
I don't
This
like
is
that.
stupid.
No, I get it, but like it's
Okay, fair enough. That's what someone else this morning didn't like. Alright, question.
So let's say you have two C's next to each other,
Yep.
and then you go down one, and then to the right of that, there's another C. Is that like a possible thing?
Yes. Hey, look up here real quick. Anyone know the name of this?
What?
It's butane.
Pertain.
1, 2, 3, 4. It's still butane, all in one chain.
Okay.
If butane already exists in nature, why does it seem
It won't. But on paper, they could mess with it to make you confused.
So we're learning about this for no reason.
Just because it could be on a test. Yeah. Hey, I don't like that either. I don't like that either. You need both sheets? All three?
Sheet due tomorrow.
Oh, you guys don't have that. Yeah, sorry.